This is this is Sam, and I am an Emerald Beachbody coach on my wife Ashley DiMercurio's team, Fit for Life. And today I wanted to make a video about the importance of personal development. So if you guys have been Beachbody coaches for any length of time, you will have already heard about the three vital behaviors, right? Which is be the product of the product, invite, and personal development. Well, what I tend to find is that many people will work on the first two, but sometimes skip the third one, skip the personal development, because they find that maybe they don't have time, maybe they don't see the value in it, whatever the case might be. But I think that personal development is probably one of the most important things that you can do as a Beachbody coach, because if you don't have personal development, then your mind isn't going to be in the right place to be able to really push and do what you need to do to be successful. So one of the things that I see a lot of the time is that, people, especially new coaches, will be really excited about doing their workouts. And I just did my workout, so you'll notice that's why I'm sweaty and whatever. But that's easy to post about that on Facebook. That's easy to post about that on on Instagram, on Twitter, whatever. It's easy to share that, right? And invite. Well, that actually can be difficult too for a lot of people. But at the same time, if you're a dedicated coach, you're passionate about what you're doing, you're going to be reaching out to people. Okay. So in many cases, especially if you end up having a fast start and you haven't been doing a lot of personal development, it can seem like it's not that important. But let me tell you why it is. See, what'll end up happening is at some point in your business, you're going to hit a lull. You're going to hit a snag. You're going to get to that point where you're just getting so many people saying no. You might get friends or family that question whether or not this is a good business decision. They'll question whether or not you're just trying to, get them involved in some kind of pyramid scheme, or, question your motives in some way. Okay. And that can cause you to falter. That can cause you to pause. That can cause you to have this internal fear that will prevent you from continuing on and pushing on in your business when you need to. So what I would recommend is that you take some time to really dig into personal development. And one of the books that I would suggest that you read is a book called Go for No. You can Google it, look it up on Amazon, Go for No. And it's a great book. It's very short, and it's told in almost like a story format, like this guy who is a salesman sort of recounting this pivotal moment. And it's somewhat fictional, but it's a great book because what he does is he basically lays out this formula that says, what you want to do. Most salespeople are chasing yeses, right? Because ultimately a yes means a sale. But what he's saying is, what salespeople get discouraged at is the word no. So what he did was decided, well, what if I make the goal not getting a yes, but getting a no? And maybe I set my goal where I'm not going to stop calling people until I get 100 no's. Okay. And what does that mean? Well, that means that if I call 10 people and 2 of them say yes, that means I only have 8 no's. So I got to keep going. So I call another 10 people. If I get another 2 yeses, right? Well, that's great. Well, now I only have 16 no's. I got to keep calling, right? So you keep calling, right? And so, it's the idea that you're redefining failure. You're redefining the word no as a success. And I think that if you can embody that methodology, if you can take a look at that idea and really believe that, you're going to be unstoppable, right? Because as cynical as it is, or as it sounds, sales really are about numbers. Okay. So you have to reach out to a lot of people. But if you watched my previous video, you'll also know that not only do you have to reach out to a lot of people, but in this business, as a Beachbody coach, you have a responsibility to reach out to as many people as you can. Okay. So if you have that responsibility, you can't let anything stand in your way. You can't let your own fears, you can't let your own insecurities get in the way of presenting this life-changing opportunity to people. So check out Go for No. Another thing that I would suggest that you do is check out the podcast Every Day is Saturday. That has been an unbelievably profound piece of personal development for me, because the guy in that basically he was in sales. You know, he was this corporate sales. He was a manager, very successful, and he was miserable. And every time he would, you know, go to work, his daughter would be like, "Is it Saturday yet? Is it Saturday?" And he finally was like, "Well, why do you keep asking that?" And she's like, "Well, because you're home on Saturday and I get to play with you and be with you on Saturday." You know, and that's been hitting me pretty hard lately, because, you know, I'm still going to work, and my son Michael will say the same thing. You know, "I'm going to miss you today." So that's really hard. But what personal development has allowed us to do is it has allowed Ashley to stay home with Michael, so we don't have to send him to daycare. Okay. It's allowed us to have the confidence to know that right now it's a little bit difficult. Okay. But we know that we're not going to give up. Okay. We know that we will be successful. And we were willing to take that scary leap, that jump, that, you know, that movement that propelled us to this position. That would not have happened without personal development. So think about people in your life, right, that are stuck in a dead-end job, right? Or they are stuck living somebody else's dream. Or worse yet, they have a comfortable, mediocre, boring life, and you know that they want more, but they just can't get out of their own way. A lot of that can be overcome by personal development. So they list that, Beachbody lists that as one of the 3 vital behaviors for a reason. It's not something that you can skip. It's not something that you can decide you don't need to do or you don't need to prioritize. It is a vital behavior, because if you don't get your mind right, you won't be able to be a superstar in this business. And if you're not a superstar in this business, you're missing out on the opportunity to reach somebody and change their lives. So I would be really curious to hear what you guys think, what you're struggling with, or if you are doing personal development, what you're finding to be particularly helpful. Let's see if we can share this around the community and see if we can, you know, encourage our fellow coaches and those who might think about coaching, or even those who have nothing to do with the business, but you know could really benefit from personal development. Let's share that with them. So I look forward to hearing from you guys, and, you know, keep push and play. Good night.